Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive! This week, I continue my series on Blood Dawn by talking about the mechanics behind the system. The system is, in and of itself, a D20-based system, but it's not a D20 system. And so with that, sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about the mechanics behind Blood Dawn. Up through the early to mid-90s, the humble 20-sided die was the workhorse of many role-playing games. It's been used through variations through dozens of different systems and iterations. While eventually there would be a D20 system, D20-based systems were among the most common, and Blood Dawn is one of these systems. Now, Blood Dawn is not a level and class-based system. It is a skill-based system. And pretty much it worked like this. You had a core difficulty of 10. This was the baseline difficulty. Each level of complexity or difficulty of the skill subtracted from this difficulty, because this was a roll low system. Now then, each skill, you would add the ranks in the skill plus the appropriate attribute modifier. So, let's say you were making a test on a skill difficulty 2. You had 1 rank in this skill and 2 rank of ability modifier. What you would end up rolling would be a D20, of course. But your target number would be 10 for the base difficulty, minus 2 for the difficulty levels, so 8, plus 1 for the skill, plus 2 for the attribute, for a total plus 3, for a total of 11 for the difficulty. And then you would roll a d20. Your goal here would be to roll under 11. Well, 11 or under. You want to roll low. 1's always succeeded, 20's always failed. Combat worked pretty much the same way, except of course it added the weapon accuracy to your skill modifiers. However, the base difficulty was determined by your range. From a short range of 16 all the way up to the most extreme ranges of a base difficulty of minus 2. And from there you would add the accuracy of the weapon, your skill modifiers, and subtract any cover or concealment modifiers for the enemy. Combat worked in 1-second rounds. Of course, whoever rolled the lowest for initiative went first. But there were some little quirks to the system. Like I said, it's 1 round is 1 second. If you did not have a weapon drawn at the start of combat, it took you 1d4 seconds to draw and ready that weapon. If you were taking aim, so that you would not suffer the minus 8 snapshot penalty, it took you 1 second for every 50 feet away your enemy was. So, let's say you're being ambushed by people 100 feet away, and you don't have your weapons drawn. You roll 1d4, so let's say you got a 2 here. So it takes you 2 seconds to draw your weapon. Now, they're 100 feet away, so you don't want to take the snapshot penalty because you want to, have a chance of hitting them. So, you start taking aim. That's going to be another 2 seconds. So you got 4 seconds before you're able to return fire. 4 seconds that you are actually under fire by these ambushers. So, in that way, the system was kind of realistic in that it either made you want to be the ambusher or made you want to put yourself in a situation where everyone was disadvantaged equally by having to draw their weapons, etc. But there's more to the system than just that. The skill advancement system was novel as well. See, you didn't get experience points. Advancement was done through actually using the skills. So, every 5 times you used a skill, 4 times if you were an albino giant, you got to roll 2 dice 6. And that was the number of advancement points you accumulated towards that skill. Now, when you reached a certain number of advancement points, the skill went up. Like the quickest advancement rate would be like for skill ranks 1 through 5, you had to accumulate 10 advancement points per skill rank. The highest, most difficult skills required 25 at that 1 through 5 ranking. But at the higher levels of skills, you're looking at 75 to 150 skill points, advancement points per rank. So, skills did not advance quickly unless you used them a lot. Skills did not get to high ranks unless you used them a lot. But this, of course, leads us into character creation. To start off character creation, you have 130 points to put between your vital statistics. Now, the cost for any of your vital statistics is equal to the level you're putting it at. Exception, if you're going above 20. If you're going above 20, then it's 2 points per level above 20. So an 18 would be 18 points. A 21 would be 22 points. Because 20 for up to level 20, and then 2 points for that 1 point above 20. Of course, there are 8 ability scores, vital statistics. Strength, you're strong. Manual dexterity, your fine hand manipulation. Used for things like wiring, auto mechanics work, brain surgery. IQ, how smart you are. This is also affects your ability to do magic if you are a witch or a healer or some of the other varieties out there. Agility is your full body agility, your full body dexterity. Other systems might call it coordination. But here they call it agility. It is used for determining your initiative and is used as the primary attribute for most combat skills. Constitution. How healthy you are. It's your disease resistance, and it also helps determine how much damage you can ultimately take. Guts. This is how brave you are. A guts of below 7, you're gonna have a chance to go running even if the situation doesn't warrant it. It's how good you are under pressure and how well you keep your cool in combat. Intuition. This is primarily I don't know what to do next. I don't have a skill that says I should do what I could do. So your GM will ask you to do an intuition check so they can give you a clue. Charisma is how pretty you are. It's literally their examples. And this is the only attribute that has an acceptable value of a negative. A -6 charisma is you are hideous to behold. You are the Toxic Avenger if the Toxic Avenger were uglier. Yes, that's right. A -6 charisma makes Toxie look handsome, since he's at only probably a -2 charisma. And that's the core bit right there. You got 130 points to spread between these vital statistics. From there, you get to decide if you're going to take mutations. Now, each mutation has 2 effects. It adds to or subtracts from, whether it's a beneficial or negative mutation, to your points allocation pool for the next step. Then there's the simple fact that they all affect how pretty you are. They give you penalties to your charisma. Remember, your charisma cannot go below -6. And so, with those, you pick from your mutations if you want any. You know, if you are human or various other things and you want mutations, this is when you pick them. Now, one interesting thing is, once you've picked your race, which you would do now, your race gives you a variety of free skills in many instances. And then it gives you some other benefits. Like albino giants, they get a bonus to their hand-to-hand combat, and they only need to roll 4 times before they get to make a advancement check for combat skills. But the thing you have to remember is these races do not modify your vital statistics. So you've assigned your vital statistics, you've assigned your race, Your race determines your movement speed and your base body points before counting in your charisma and constitution. And then you have a base of 2,000 points that you use to determine your skills by paying the appropriate advancement points for the level of skill you're taking. Note that the skills you take, only one skill can be at 6. All the others have to be at 5 or lower. And then, any points that you do not spend into skills, you use for acquiring your starting equipment. But, if you are a healer or a witch, you have to allocate 750 of those 2,000 points to magic. And that is the basics of character creation. And that covers the core of the systems of Blood Dawn. Unfortunately, they never released that I was able to find any secondary source books. So, that's pretty much the basics of the whole system in and of itself. All that said, this was a basic D20 based system with some interesting quirks that other systems down the line might have taken inspiration from. So, that said, next week I will be covering Earth Dawn. Totally different system, similar last name. Until then, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.